Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story: tragedy piled on tragedy. Police reveal that one of the synagogue attack victims may have been killed inadvertently by one of their own officers. The man who died was hit by a bullet as he stood behind the synagogue door when officers opened fire on the attacker outside. Also tonight,
we do not want you speaking. Shame on you! Shame on you!
the Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy is booed and heckled at a vigil for the victims this afternoon. We'll hear from friends and neighbours of the two victims, named today as Adrian Dalby and Melvin Kravitz.
All my kids love him so much. Every Christmas, Eid, he was bringing a gift, and my kids was bring the gift to him back. Very good man he was. Very, very, very good man.
Also on the programme tonight,
Destination Florida!
Find out why a charity is flying out 70 children for the holiday of a lifetime in the USA. Bouncing onto the podium, hopefully, the Liverpool trampolinist inspiring others after overcoming adversity.
And we've got warnings in force for both wind and rain because of Storm Amy. Already gale force winds in part of the northwest. How are we going to look through this evening and to the weekend? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
A tragedy piled on a tragedy. That's how one Jewish leader described the news today, that one of the two men killed in yesterday's attack at the Heaton Park Synagogue had been hit by a bullet fired by armed police responding to the incident. Adrian Dalby was inside the synagogue, barricading the door, when police outside opened fire on the attacker. But the Prime Minister, who visited the scene today, and members of the Jewish community said that the swift police response had saved many more lives. Well, let's join our reporter Andy Gill, who is at the scene for us this evening. Andy.
Well, Annabelle, you can see the police cordons around Heaton Park Synagogue still in place tonight. There was a vigil on this road earlier, attended by civic leaders and the Deputy Prime Minister, David Lammy. He was heckled by people opposed to the government's policies on Israel. More on that later. But as you mentioned, police have said that Adrian Dalby, one of the men who died, was probably hit by a police bullet when police opened fire to stop the attacker. Adrian Dalby's family released a statement this afternoon saying Adrian Dalby was a hero and tragically lost his life in the act of courage to save others. The family's shocked by the tragic sudden death of such a lovely, down-to-earth man. His final act was one of profound courage, and he will be forever remembered for his heroic act. Adrian Dalby then one of two men very probably hit by police fire. As police investigations continue at the scene of the crime, the Chief Constable revealed that two of the victims, one who died and one who's injured, were probably hit by police shots when armed officers fired at the attacker to stop him. Sir Stephen Watson said it was a tragic and unforeseen consequence of urgently required action. On a visit to Manchester, the Prime Minister praised the police.
I've also seen the body-worn cameras and the footage out of that. And I am absolutely clear in my mind as to the professionalism of the response, the speed of the response, and also that an absolutely awful incident would have been even worse if it hadn't been for your response.
One of the three people injured worked for a charity which provides security for UK Jews. It said the gunshot injuries to the victims were a tragedy.
This tragedy upon tragedy. Armed police show immense courage and professionalism every time they're called to an incident, not knowing what they're going to face. It's undoubted that so often they stop further casualties when they do it. I think for the details of what actually happened yesterday, it's important to let the investigation into that proceed and come out with its detailed findings.
One of the men who died was 66-year-old Melvin Kravitz. A neighbour paid this tribute.
It's a shock, a huge shock. He was a really lovely man. Always used to come over and have a chat and ask me what I was up to. Always had a smile on his face. Crying shame.
At the home of the other man who died, Adrian Dalby, neighbours spoke of an innocent and gentle man.
All my kids love him so much. Every Christmas, Eid, he was bringing a gift, and my kids was bring the gift to him back. Always, buying a book for children to bring.
The attacker was Jihad al-Shami, a British citizen of Syrian heritage. In a statement, his family said the al-Shami family in the UK and abroad strongly condemns this heinous act, which targeted peaceful and innocent civilians. They said, "We fully distance ourselves from this attack and express our deep shock and sorrow over what happened. Our hearts and thoughts are with the victims and their families, and we pray for their strength and comfort." A neighbour of al-Shami said,
knowing that a terrorist is living under my nose, from here to that address, 2-minute walk, if that. And to have somebody like that living on my estate is scary.
Police are still questioning 2 men in their 30s and a woman in her 60s on suspicion of terrorism offences. Those investigations continuing. Also news tonight that the attacker, Jihad al-Shami, had been arrested for an alleged rape and that he was on bail for that offence at the time of this attack.
And Andy, there is a protest march planned for in Manchester tomorrow against Israel's war in Gaza. Politicians and police have called for it not to go ahead, but it seems like it is going to.
Yes, this organised by Greater Manchester Friends of Palestine, due to take place in Cathedral Gardens in Manchester tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, the Jewish Sabbath. The Chief Constable of Greater Manchester, Sir Stephen Watson, issued a statement asking the organisers to reconsider and act in a responsible and sensitive manner to what happened here yesterday. That was a plea that he repeated at the vigil on this road this afternoon. The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has also asked the organisers to consider. They've said, though, that there will be Palestinian and Jewish speakers at the event, and as things stand, it is going to go ahead tomorrow, that event taking place while investigations into what happened here will doubtless be continuing. Annabelle.
Andy, thank you very much. Our reporter Andy Gill live at the scene in Crumpsall there. Well, earlier today, the trustees of the Heaton Park Synagogue paid tribute to the 2 men who died, Adrian Dalby and Melvin Kravitz. They said these were not simply members of our synagogue, they were our friends and our family, and their absence leaves a void that can never be filled. They went on to describe the attack as a desecration that has changed us all forever. Rabbi Daniel Walker was leading morning prayers at the synagogue when the attack happened. He's been speaking to the BBC's Judith Moritz.
So my experience was running out to the foyer. The doors had been locked and closed by the security team. There was a very injured man in the foyer with us, and there was a terrorist trying to batter his way into the synagogue. Body charging the doors, throwing heavy plant pots at the doors, doing everything he could to get in. And so a number of us were holding the doors and making sure that he couldn't get in. And we did that until the police arrived. And then at some point after the police arrived, another 2 people were hurt inside the foyer, and 1 man who passed away, and 1 man who's in hospital. And as we found out later on, another man had been killed outside, and another man injured very badly outside. I believe and hope that we can provide reassurance and hope. I believe very strongly that we can't allow this to beat us. I was looking out of the window in the door at the man trying to get in, and I saw evil and I saw hate, and we will not allow that to beat us.
Because on your side of the door, you saw something else too, didn't you? What was that? Yes.
I saw genuine heroism, I have to say. People who ran to help others rather than running away. It was astonishing.
Well, the Heaton Park Synagogue sits in the heart of the Jewish community in North Manchester. It's the largest one outside London. Yesterday, most people were too shocked to talk about the horror of what happened on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. Today, though, some were reflecting on an attack that many had feared would come at some point. And emotions ran high at a vigil held near the scene this afternoon, as Kelly Foran reports.
Trying to carry on as normal when life recently has felt far from it. For people who live here, their streets, their safe place, now a crime scene. David lives opposite the synagogue.
Doesn't sink in so easily, but we're getting a lot of support from all the neighbours, from all the communities around us, which we appreciate. We've been here for many years. We've lived in peace for many years.
Do you feel safe here?
To be honest with you, I do feel safe, but that's only because we have a lot of support from our neighbours around us. But in the bigger picture, that might just be me. But in the bigger picture, I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel very unsafe.
We drove past a road sign that says this area is a celebration of culture. It's a sentiment that's now being questioned, but at the same time reinforced as people from all backgrounds gathered this afternoon at a vigil.
The last time we felt like this was October the 7th, and it's that same feeling as if you've been punched in the stomach and everybody hates you, but it's nice to see all the support from people of all different faiths here.
How have you found the last day or so?
Terrible. I was meant to go to shul yesterday, but my wife said not to. Synagogue, but which I normally go to, and just couldn't do it. The kids want the kids to be safe. They were scared.
You could feel it in the air that something terrible was going to happen. It was just a question of when. So it's always been, we've never been fully relaxed. We've always been on our guard. And now it's happened, and it's just very surreal.
Two truly wonderful, special men.
Rabbi Daniel Walker, who was inside the synagogue yesterday, was greeted by cheers. But as the Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy was about to speak, the atmosphere quickly changed.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Friends, we must stand together today. We must stand in grief, in solidarity and in defiance.
This gathering was described as a chance to come together for collective strength in the face of hate.
In mourning those who have lost their lives are literally reflecting upon people who gave their lives in the very act of protecting the lives of others.
People gathered too at churches across Greater Manchester to light candles, and from all faiths.
So for me to be part of this community, show my solidarity with the Jewish community is really important to me. And the saddest thing is that any conflict that people have with other people shouldn't be taken out like this. And no innocent person deserves to be killed.
A local Jewish councillor told me people are feeling scared but strong.
It is a very strong community, and something like this will not defeat people's resolve to carry on to live as normal life as possible.
As normal as can be, with police patrols still on almost every street corner. This community is hurting, but also hoping that they can get through this together. Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight.
We have some breaking news just coming in. Police are at an address in Farnworth this evening. They have confirmed that this is related to the attack on the synagogue yesterday, and we'll have more on that breaking news in our late bulletin at 10:30. We're going to move on to some of the day's other news now, and the Tranmere-born actress Dame Patricia Routledge has died at the age of 96. She's best known, of course, for playing Hyacinth Bouquet in the BBC sitcom Keeping Up Appearances. She also starred in Alan Bennett's TV monologues and in her early career appeared in Coronation Street. Her agent said she died peacefully in her sleep this morning. Electricity North West is ramping up its preparations as Storm Amy is set to hit the region this weekend. Extra teams are on standby to deal with any damage caused by storm force winds, while train operator TransPennine Express is warning passengers not to travel north of Preston. Kay will be here, of course, with a roundup of the weather at the end of this programme. Drivers working for First Bus in Greater Manchester have accepted an improved pay offer, which their union says is worth 20%. Unite says drivers at Stagecoach have rejected a pay offer and will join drivers from Metrolink for 6 days of further industrial action on the B network starting next Friday. Now, the Green Party leader, Zach Polanski, says his relentless focus is on lowering people's bills and is proposing a 1% tax on the assets of multimillionaires and billionaires. Speaking ahead of the Green Party conference, which starts today, Mr Polanski, who was born in Salford and was elected as leader last month, says people in the North West need a party that will have their backs.
We're the party that want to build council houses, not unaffordable homes. We're the party that want to fund the National Health Service. And we're the party that wants to tax multimillionaires and billionaires. I'm not talking about plumbers, hairdressers, small businesses or working class communities. I'm talking about taxing people with inordinate amounts of wealth to redistribute that money around our economy, which is vital across the North West.
Right, sport now. It is the first Super League playoff semi-final tonight with local rivals playing for a place in next weekend's grand final. Ian, you've got all the details on that one.
Have I? Yes,
Hope so.
Oh, I have, yeah. Sorry. Wigan Warriors host Lee Leopards tonight after a week of controversy, Annabelle, surrounding the eliminators. First, St Helens beat Leeds after having a try incorrectly awarded. Then Lee owner Derek Beaumont threw his side's semi-final into doubt, you might recall, by threatening that Leopards wouldn't play over what he considered an unacceptable ticket allocation. But he since said the club was preparing as normal as they look to follow up last weekend's win over Wakefield to reach a first-ever grand final. Of course, the reigning champions stand in their way.
It'll be outstanding. I think as much as it's a contest and a competition, I think it's a celebration of the borough.
We're excited to battle the borough. Everyone's going to be there. There's only one game of rugby league on Friday night. We're all good to go.
Should be good. After that, it's St Helens on Saturday as they go to league leaders, Shield winners Hull Kingston Rovers. Hopefully we'll have two North West teams in next weekend's grand final. We certainly have on Sunday as Wigan Warriors and St Helens meet in the Women's Super League grand final. This was St Helens narrowly beating York Valkyrie in the semis a couple of weeks ago, while Wigan made it through with a 38-0 win over Leeds Rhinos. That final takes place at Wigan's own ground, the Brick Community Stadium. Let's look at football for a moment. The Premier League leaders Liverpool go to Chelsea tomorrow, and it's Manchester United versus Sunderland at Old Trafford, which surely is a must-win game for manager Ruben Amorim. He's under so much pressure, isn't he? On Sunday, Manchester City are away at Brentford, with some disappointment today for that man, the informed Phil Foden, who's not been named in the England squad for their upcoming matches. Same with Jack Grealish, who's also in form and on loan from Manchester City to Everton, who host Crystal Palace on Sunday. Burnley, meanwhile, go to Aston Villa. There's also a big game in the WSL tonight as second-place Manchester United host champions and current leaders Chelsea. Well, last week we're at Sale Sharks, that logo keeps appearing, as they started the new Prem season with a home win over Gloucester. This was how they did it after a much improved second-half performance. This evening they're at champions Bath, who also started the season with a win.
Games have slipped out of our grasp last 20 minutes. Certainly that was the case last two times we played down at Bath, so we tried to address that this week. Today was pretty spicy in training, take what you want from that. We tried to put ourselves in a lot of frustration because we know we've got to be able to manage it at the weekend.
Next to a trampoline gymnast who's overcome many obstacles on his rise to the top. Jamie Canning from Liverpool was expelled from around a dozen schools after his Asperger's syndrome wasn't detected. But a diagnosis combined with dedication to his sport changed his life. He's already won multiple medals in mainstream competition and this weekend competes to retain his title in the disability category at the British Championships. Negotiating childhood was difficult for Jamie Canning through no fault of his own.
It was quite a tough time growing up. I was just told I was a naughty child, that I couldn't behave, that I wasn't concentrating, that it was all my fault. And being passed along from school to school, trying to fit in with new friend groups, it was very hard, especially with a disability like Asperger's. where it is very much social.
Did you feel differently when you came to gymnastics before the diagnosis? Was that a release for you?
I think it definitely helped in terms of taking up a lot of my energy and kind of giving me something to focus on, giving me something to look forward to, developing strength, learning discipline, all of those kind of skills.
It's one thing seeing top trampolinists on the TV, it's another one seeing them in person. Look how high he's going right now. Look at that. Oh, good, good. Nice execution. Just tell us some of the things you've won over the years, some of the medals.
So I was British champion in the mainstream category. From 2013 to 2019, I medalled at every single British championship. I competed internationally for Great Britain and won gold in Lule in 2016. Lots and lots of achievements.
Speaking of which, training partner Zach is a world champion and finished 4th at the Paris Olympics.
This gym particularly is like one big family, really. I think everyone loves each other and everyone, you know, supports each other.
Oh, I love Jamie. He's always such a hard worker as well. And obviously school was quite difficult for him, but he still found a way to be really, really successful. And, you know, you don't have to go down that like traditional route.
As well as competing and coaching, Spider-Man Jamie here runs an entertainment business.
Sport has been the vehicle by which he's been able to grow as a person, and to see him now still being able to compete in the sport at the highest level, run his own business and kind of all the success that he's having in life, I think it's fantastic.
On Sunday, Jamie's back competing, this time in the disability category.
We're going down to Telford to compete at the British Championships. My competition is on the Sunday.
You're hoping for gold? You're going for gold?
Always, always. And I think hopefully if I can continue to talk about my past and my dreams, hopefully I can inspire others to achieve theirs.
It's very likely he will. Couldn't have put it better myself. Very good, that, isn't it? What a nice guy. Good that he dived in slow motion for us as well. Now, that is a skill.
That is a skill. The height he reaches, it's incredible, isn't it?
I know. Nosebleed territory.
I know, it really is. Ian, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Now, 70 children from across the north, many with life-limiting illnesses, have today flown out to Orlando for the holiday of a lifetime to visit Walt Disney and Mickey, of course. The trip is being paid for by the Northwest charity Destination Florida, and it also means that their families can take what is often a much-needed holiday of their own. Phil Cunliffe was at Manchester Airport this morning to see them off.
Here to make memories. Terminal 2 echoed to the sound of laughter this morning as a 180-strong party of children and volunteers checked in for their flight. And the start of what is hoped will be an unforgettable experience for youngsters who often find life a struggle.
Destination Florida! I'm so excited. I can't wait to make new friends and just see all the characters, and it's such an amazing charity.
On 3, 1, 2, 3! Harry
Potter! I've been really keen to start getting packing and stuff like that.
Chloe lives with type 1 diabetes. It's potentially fatal. She'll always need insulin. Her mum says it stops her enjoying a normal life.
She can't always do things that other children her age do, you know, like girls are having sleepovers and things like that, because she needs round-the-clock care. So I'm hoping that this will be a big treat.
Over the course of the week-long trip, the children get to visit 2 of the world's best-known theme parks. It's all financed through sponsorship, and none of the 110 helpers get paid.
Everybody who's on this trip is purely voluntary, and all the medical staff as well. Over a third are doctors and nurses. Part of the ethics of the charity is not only to look after the child, but look after the family as well. Some of them can go on holiday, they can spend some time they don't get. It's a respite for them.
Warrington teenager Liv has Rett syndrome, which affects the way her brain develops.
I can't wait to go to Disney, and I am so excited. I can't believe it's happening.
Don't get me wrong, I'm ecstatic she's going. It's a fantastic opportunity. But for us as parents, it's actually quite difficult because, you know, she's our only daughter. She's got all these needs. She's always with me. She's my little best friend. We've never had time away from her, so it's quite difficult. I'm going to miss her every day.
This is Gracie, who's from Lancashire. She has 2 genetic rare disorders. Her family says ordinarily they could never afford a trip to Florida.
They've a great medical team, a bunch of volunteers with them. They're fab. It's respite for us guys because it is very hard work when you're with the children day in, day out, and it's just fantastic.
They say a change is as good as a rest. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester Airport.
Have a lovely, lovely holiday, all of you. It's great. Disney. I love Disney.
Oh,
I mean, other theme parks are available, but
they are. But
great,
when I went,
it?
I was like a grown teenager, and my sister was older. I was so embarrassed because I was there with my autograph book, aged like 15. Love it.
Right.
Child.
Storm Amy is what
Storm
you
Amy.
actually are here to talk about, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's not been great. It's been a washout day today. Scenes like this right across the northwest. Downpours of rain, heavy in places, accompanied with strong winds. In fact, on the Isle of Man, Ronald's Way is where we've seen the strongest wind gusts so far, 65 miles per hour recorded at 6 p.m. And winds are going to continue to strengthen. Thank you for sending your photographs in, as always. You can follow me on socials or become a BBC Weather Watcher. Let me know what it's looking like where you are, and I do expect windy photographs. So we've got 2 warnings in force. Break that down. The rain warning expires tonight at midnight. Actually, it might not feel like it, but the bulk of the rain has gone. We're now looking at really heavy showers. The wind warning is valid until midnight tomorrow night because the winds, if anything, are going to pick up now over the next few hours and into tomorrow. Into context, Scotland have had gusts of 92 miles per hour. The low is pushing, that's the storm, northwards. It's on the back edge where the winds will strengthen. So we are looking at strong winds through this evening and overnight tonight as well. Now, like I said, the band of rain continues to push away. That tracks eastwards. Behind it, then, we start to get some showers. So squally showers as we head overnight tonight. Really strong winds, especially for coastal parts over the tops of the Pennines as well. Temperatures on the mild side, I mean, lows of between about 7 and 11 degrees. Tomorrow morning, a windy start to your day. There'll be scattered showers around at first. Now, the showers are likely to merge into a longer spell of heavy and persistent rain. Not good for flash flooding. If you are travelling anywhere, just bear in mind there could be some disruption. Behind that, some sunny spells, but heavy showers, the risk of hail and thunder. It's not going to feel like 13 or 14 degrees given the strength of that wind. Push over into Sunday. Now, the winds will moderate a little bit. It's still going to be a windy day, just less windy than tomorrow. As we head through the day on Sunday, we'll see it clouding over, a little bit of dampness to the air, gusts still around about 30 to 40 miles per hour. It stays cloudy as we start the next working week. That's your forecast.
So she's going to make an impact, but fortunately, Storm Amy doesn't seem to be hanging around for too long.
Very fast moving, but if you are doing any outdoor activities tomorrow, I would check that.
Yeah,
strong wind.
Thank you very much. Just before we go, just to remind you of our top story, 3 people are in custody in connection with that terror attack on the Heaton Park Synagogue yesterday, and Greater Manchester Police are currently at an address in Farnworth near Bolton. Mairead Smith will bring you any updates, if there are any, at 10:30. Bye-bye. Bye.